will you explain to us the difference between personal branding and actual ads? The difference between advertising and branding.
Well, I think there's typically advertising. We hear the phrase, a lot of people use this phrase, I just want to get my name out there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That's a form of advertising. It's not a strong way. It's not a strong way of advertising, but just getting my name out there. A lot of people will say that. As far as branding, you have to tie a message, something that, to your name. So people get it. So they remember it. So like you said, like Subaru Steve, that was one of the examples. Buyback Billy, the example right in front of me, those type of things. They're catchy. They're sometimes they're a little, almost a little silly or a little, just fun, those types of things. So you want some type of catch, for lack of a better word, catch, because I know a lot of people say, what's the catch in advertising, that they use that as a negative. But in this, you do want something that's memorable. That's the word I'm looking for. You want something that's memorable, that will work, that will stand out above the crowd.
Paul, I'm so glad you said that. Now, you can, and I walk the line very carefully, because I tell people all the time, the worst thing you can do is sound like a salesperson, right? Now, I think you need to sound like an expert, and I can talk to any dealer anywhere in the country and speak as an expert when it comes to marketing and Facebook events and direct mail and just branding and messaging and all these things. I'm careful with the Buyback Billy, because the Buyback Billy is the pitch, and that's the message that we push to the consumers for the dealers. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Some dealers like it. Oh, that's Buyback Billy. Hey, let's get the Buyback Billy guy in here, and that works. But I am aware of it, and I'm careful with it, Paul, because I don't want to be, sure, I'll be the cheesy guy if it gets the results. But let's make no mistake, I'm not a cheesy guy. We're professionals that know we know this business better than anybody. We've taught a lot of people how to do it, and they're having success. There's some inside the business, some outside the business. But so when you're crafting your brand, be very careful how you market yourself. Someone posted a video from one of our dealers. I will not name the dealer, but they did their own videos because, in The Art of Text Message Selling, very powerful book, tells you a lot of good things you need to know in there. We talk about sending videos and doing your own videos. And that's a way to get your branding out there as well. Do not be silly on there. Some humor is okay, but if you run around being silly, and there's this one video that one of our people shared from one of our dealers, and man, it reminded me, Paul, you have more experience with it than this. Maybe the 1980s, maybe the 1990s car guy who was loud and funny and blowing up thing. You know what I'm saying? And
really,
you can't believe my prices are so low. Blah, blah. That do not do that. If you're a student of Buyback Billy, if you're a student of the Digi Ninja Sales Academy, then please do not be cheesy like that. The first thing you need to be is very professional, knowledgeable, put a brand, and I love what Paul said. You have to put a message out there, a message that's memorable. And by the way, the best marketing tells a story. And that's what we do for so many of our clients, Paul, is we're able to tell their story, their specific story of why they are who they are. And the whole why should you buy from us? That's such a tremendous opportunity for every salesperson, every dealership, every vendor. Our pitch, Paul, was when a dealer asks you, I'm using this as an example of what a pitch should sound like. When a dealer asks you, well, Paul, what are you going to do for me? Why should I spend $10,000 to do business with you for a week?
Well, I mean, there's two things. You start off with, we are the most effective product in the car business. That should be enough to get their attention. To at least go, okay. So, but then they want proof. They're like, okay, so prove it to me. What are you going to do for me? So then we tell them immediately, Appointments solve problems. That's part of what we sell, if you will, and what we explain. And it's part of what we do too. It's not just a sales pitch. It's what we do. We set appointments for our dealerships to get them customers. Without appointments, no customers show up. Without the customers, they don't make any money. So that's what we do for them, is we handle the conversations personally, by the way, with real people, not with AI automated messaging and things like that. Real people. So we handle their conversations, their leads, if you will, turn them into customers so that they can actually sell cars. And as far as how many cars, there are a lot of variables. So I'm not going to give some, BS line about if you do this, you're going to sell this. There are a lot of variables, but we're honest and open about how we can approach it, attack it so that the campaign makes sense.
Yep, absolutely. And I will put a number out there, Paul, and I'll explain why. And Joey will put a number out there, and I'll explain why. One way we pitch it very often is, how would you like to sell an additional 50 cars in 7 days, right? So that's a very, like the same with you. That's a great hook. And then that gets their attention. Well, here's how we're going to do that. I can't guarantee you 50 cars, but we have dealers that are super excited if they sell 15 cars. And that's true, Paul, based on the number of cars. We have dealers that may sell 40 cars in a month. If we can help them sell an additional 15, they're excited. And then we have some big boy dealers that are going to sell 500 cars, even if we're not helping them. So they want to sell an additional 100. So I'm confident to use those numbers, because I'm not promising anything. How would you like to sell an additional 50 cars? Well, here's how we can do it. And here's what it may look like for you. Here's what best case scenario. Here's worst case scenario. So I'm all about, crafting a pitch that works. So as a salesperson, you need to understand what your pitch is. Why should someone buy from you? You need to sit down, articulate that, make it make sense, and then get someone to help you. As a matter of fact, you can send us a message. You can contact me, Billy W. Merritt, or Paul. Send us your pitch. We will help you craft the perfect pitch. We need to hear what you think it is first. And then we're going to help you make it even better. Matter of fact, I'm working with a couple of vendors right now that are, I don't really consider anybody our competition, Paul. I think we're in such a niche market. And if you have a call center, and if you have, if you run 7-day Facebook events, sure, you're our competition. But I don't even know any of those guys anymore. So they definitely don't have the facility and the manpower and the resources that we have. But there's some software companies out there. There's some things doing some pretty cool things, or some very cool things with some follow-up tools, and with some very smart marketing that goes on throughout the year, and it helps you retain customers. So I'm helping some of these guys craft their pitch, and it's going to make them more powerful in the marketplace. And the reason I like to give away all this information, Paul, is because if we're known that, if you listen to Billy, you're going to get some information that really could help you. If we brand ourselves like that, and people understand, we're not just going to jump on the show, and hear a pitch. Sure, you may hear our pitch, but we try to show you how you can make your pitch better, how you can make your business better. So I'll end with these two things. If you are a 15 car a month guy wanting to get to 30, you have to turn yourself into a business, and you have to invest money in your branding, in your messaging, in your pitch, and you have to push yourself out there into the marketplace where your ideal customer is. I'll say this again. I was going to end with those two things, but when we're looking at sending out the ads, when we're doing our ads on Saturday and Sunday, and we're picking the audiences, Paul, you and I we reviewed some Monday.
Right.
We were looking at this specific brand and the city it was in, and look, downtown Chicago is not going to buy Ram pickup trucks.
Right.
Let's slide out here to the suburbs and hit these people. You know what I'm saying? So you have to know who your ideal audience is.
Right.
And if you are an 8 car per month guy trying to get to 15, you need to invest in some training. You need to watch this show every week. You need to follow us on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram and LinkedIn, so you can get some helpful information. You need to buy some books. You need to learn how to close. You need to work on your sales skills. You can get from 8 to 15 with no marketing.